Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having a great day. Leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing. All of these things do help out the channel. To leave a comment in the comment section, I'd ask you to write the numbers 1337. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. As always, this is going to be a little bit of a weird video. Something very strange has actually happened that has not happened in just about over a year in the cryptocurrency space. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin price analysis. Bitcoin could rally if it clears this resistance. The resistance, wow, I can't say the word. The resistance once again being the $20,000 mark. A lot of analysts are now claiming that $18,000 seems to be the bottom price. 19,000 something or other is where we are currently floating around. But if we manage to pass by 20,000 and close that number, that is to say, to stay there for the course of a 24-hour period and not fall below it, that then becomes the new level of resistance, and that then becomes the area that we jump off of. However, in a rather strange turn of events, it says Bitcoin's price today. Why is crypto crashing today? There was someone who mentioned, and it's somewhere further along, other factors that would have normally moved us up higher are for some reason actually dragging us down. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. There's someone who mentioned this on Twitter. And in the comments section here before, I don't remember your Twitter handle. I do apologize. But we had a little conversation before, and you posted the thing on Twitter about how social media actually affects the prices of the cryptocurrency market. The general idea being, if people are doing high-frequency trading and or trading with bots or AI, let's say, as their trading algorithm thing, usually they will try to go against the trend of what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, i.e., if for some reason, here's the weird part, if we're having a bad day and everyone's posting things about how they're bearish or prices may not go as high or prices are going to drop, this is usually when the bots will trade in the opposite direction and begin to buy up tons of crypto, which actually then will raise our price. On the other end, and here's once again, the weird part is, if too many people are optimistic, the bots will trade in the opposite direction, selling off crypto, causing our prices to drop. Right, I know it sounds insane, but that's exactly what's happening. It says the trend of the crypto market negating crowd expectations in October has continued. According to data from Sentiment, the crypto market showed some bounce potential yesterday or today, which was deflated by bullish social media buzz. And I read through this and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, no, it actually makes perfect sense according to what that person told me on Twitter. The crypto market intelligence and social media metrics platform pointed out that on the back of a Bitcoin run up to the daily local high of around 19,600, the crowd began spamming social media platforms with words like bullish, buying, and bought. The spike in social media optimism was the largest the market had seen in 2 months. However, the market soon reacted in opposition to the crowd sentiment as prices dropped in both the crypto and equities markets until the excitement went away. So I have a very logical question here. I've heard about this before. I never really looked into it until you know who you are, posted on social media that this was a thing. I ask the logical question, how do we get the market to actually go back up then? If everyone, I assumed myself logically, if everyone's excited about the market and we see that there's potential for prices to go up, and we begin posting on social media that it looks like it could be a good day, I'm feeling like buying some more, prices will fall. If we are all miserable and we think that prices will continue to drop, prices move up. Where's the equilibrium in that? Do we all need, and this is an honest question, do we need to all be consistently miserable until Bitcoin hits $100,000? Do we have to continuously post on social media that we're feeling sad and we're feeling bearish for prices to move up? But at what point? So think of it this way. Imagine we're having like a really weird day in crypto and prices begin to continuously fall and everyone, we're really surprised. What's happening, dude? My friend is selling. Someone else is selling. Someone else is going to be selling their crypto. Sell, 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 sell. And prices begin to rally because the bots from the large organizations or the hedge funds or whoever's controlling it in the background does the opposite and they begin to buy. What happens if we end up hitting a 24,000 Bitcoin and logically become excited about where the market is moving, start posting on social media, but then the price will fall once again? I understand that. The idea is the larger players play on the opposite of the sentiment of where things are going so that they know how to short and or long something so that they benefit the most from accumulating as much crypto as they can or want to during the span of the actual events taking place on social media. But how do we then get away from that? Like, is it impossible to get away from it? Are we perpetually just stuck in this thing of bots always doing the opposite of what we say? What happens if we got rid of social media? What happens if Twitter and Instagram, and I think some people still use Facebook, what if that disappeared for 3 months? What would then happen to the cryptocurrency prices? And it's very, very weird. Because I understand it from the angle of, we are a company, we tell our bots to do the opposite so that we know to long or short or buy or sell depending on the opposite of the sentiment so that we can accumulate the most from it. But then we are kind of just perpetually stuck once again in this range in motion because it's kind of the same exact thing the other day. Remember when the price of Bitcoin fell from 19,700 to 18,000? Everyone online was like, woe is us, this is absolutely terrible. And then the price spiked once again back to 19,600. So is it just like a misery index? But how long can that actually... Anyway, I'm going to show you exactly why I'm asking these questions because of the rare event that has taken place. On top of that, a lot of the other trends that made sense before in life no longer do they make any sense. The amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum being taken off of cryptocurrency exchanges continues to spike. The idea is the more coins historically we've seen taken off of exchanges usually is followed by a price increase. There was another news story, I don't have it here, it seemed redundant, of Coinbase. There was someone who just moved, I believe, 42,000 Bitcoin, some gigantic number, off of Coinbase at one time. Historically, when that amount of Bitcoin moves off of an exchange, it usually signals to the market this person is not planning on selling. Therefore, those coins are going into hiding. There's now 42,000 less Bitcoin in the circulating supply that people can have access to. The price tends to go up. Same exact thing with Ethereum. There's also other news coming as well that also doesn't really make a lot of sense as to why prices would have dropped. Maybe it's simply another new metric that we need to start following. And the amount of calls for a $100,000 Bitcoin continue to skyrocket. I'm not sure where this is coming from or where this optimism stems from, at least at this moment. But there's a gigantic amount of people who are talking about... You've seen the news the last 2 days. We were going over it. I showed you all the tabs just to make you know that it wasn't me writing that as a title just to get you to click. No, listen, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about they believe that relatively soon Bitcoin's going to hit 50, 70, 80, 90,000, $100. There was another one over here. I don't have it in there. There was a guy talking about a $30 million Bitcoin. I'm like, if we could pass by 90K, that'd be great. And then we can start talking about $1 million Bitcoin. But tons of analysts are all screaming from the top of the hills that Bitcoin's going to hit 100K. And even more so, I ask you then this question. That's a very bullish statement. to announce or even say out loud that you think that Bitcoin is going to go to $100,000, if the AI or the bots are listening or reading, would they not simply continuously just sell off the entirety of the market as people are calling for these numbers? It's very, very weird. This entire year hasn't made a lot of sense. I mean, economically, socially, geopolitically, everything seems to be completely off. I can't be the only one who feels that way. But for some, Bitcoin has been around for almost, what was it, 13 or 14 years at this point. The last 12 years made a lot of sense price-wise. But for some reason now, everything seems completely out of whack. We should logically be a lot higher in price just off of the idea that fiat currencies are collapsing. That was the main entire prospect of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, mainly Bitcoin, is that the Bitcoin's amount is finite. It is deflationary. And fiat currencies continue to inflate. Even right now, there's also news about that as well. Bitcoin logically has always done well when US inflation years ago was even at 3-something%, or the EU had 3.5%. Bitcoin would spike on that news because it was in inverse correlation to the entire thing. But I don't understand the market anymore. I think it's, of course, things will happen with time and prices will recover and equities and securities and all that other yada, yada, yada. But it's very odd that the market doesn't move how it should logically be moving anymore. Even the idea of people being excited, I would assume logically, I guess maybe I don't have a hedge fund trillionaire mind. I would assume that if social media sentiment was showing me that everyone is buying right now, I would tell my bots to simply buy more so that I could outpace their buying and I would get in at a better price so we could all kind of rise together. But I think that's usually the opposite. On top of all of that, the weird thing that happened was, stocks are up. Crypto market is down. This is the first time that this has happened in just about a year. This is the first time that this has happened in just about a year. Stock markets around the world are currently in green. Goldman, Lockheed results buoyed Wall Street. European stock futures are currently higher, as are the ones in Asia. And this is on back of the news that we just got that UK inflation is now above 10%. It is at 10.1%. The markets typically, if you have not noticed in the last year, every time we got, this is bad inflation numbers, like 10%, normal people cannot handle that number. We have historically seen that when the numbers are that high, everyone begins to anticipate the Fed or whoever else is printing money around the world to announce we're going to be raising interest rates. We cannot continue at these numbers. We have to lower inflation. And stock markets end up falling. We had news that US inflation is 8%, UK inflation is 10%, EU inflation is also above 10% as well, and stocks are rising off of the news that things are actually quite bad. It says NASDAQ futures rise for a third day as better than expected Netflix results keep tech gains going. So the news is inflation still high, stocks are rising, futures are rising, and crypto is currently down roughly around 2 to 4% depending on the coin. And logically, I would even say if we've been following the trend of the stock market for the last year, which came completely out of nowhere, I thought we would have also risen with the stock market. It appears that we fell based off of bullish or optimistic social media movements. Very weird, right? So yeah, that's the price news that we have right now. Stocks around the world are going up. Crypto prices are currently down. Maybe this will change as the day goes on. Maybe the robots are simply sleeping and they'll start buying once again. But very, very weird. This is a very weird market. Not much more to say there. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in very popular news, Société Générale Forge, a subsidiary of France's third largest bank, has obtained registration with the Autorité des Marchés Financiers, the AMF, the French financial markets regulator, as a digital asset service provider. The digital asset subsidiary of Société Générale Group is now registered with France's financial regulator, the AMF. They are the third largest bank by total assets. So forgive me here. This sounds familiar. I can't be the only one who thinks so. This was one of the most popular news stories of the day. France's third largest bank has openly announced that they are basically into crypto. They want to be a digital asset service provider. They want to custody cryptocurrencies. They want to be able to provide people with services for cryptocurrencies. Maybe the idea stems also around that they maybe want to make their own crypto exchange, or no one knows the entirety of it, but they have filed for this license and they have received a regulatory approval, if you will. But I feel like this happened weeks ago. This is one of the top news stories of the day, but I don't know. So anyway, the major news is that another gigantic bank. No, I really want to know. And I don't think I'm ever going to get an answer to this question that will fulfill me in some sort of way. Why are prices dropping? I don't think I'm going to be able to let that one go. We have news explicitly that JP Morgan Chase is into crypto and also is working with the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. We know that BlackRock and Fidelity, huge, not even huge market makers, they basically are the market. They custody trillions of dollars. What they say the market does. The third largest bank in France has openly announced that they are going to be holding crypto or going to be a digital asset provider in some sort of way, what have you. We've had multiple news from tons of other banks around and I mean large banks. These aren't the run-of-the-mill one. Even the oldest bank in America, BNY Mellon, is also definitely into crypto. First of all, I wonder what the mentality of people who are into crypto currently is, as far as I don't get how anyone could see this news and not want to buy into the market. That, of course, I have to say it is not financial advice, but I mean from a logical standpoint, when you look at the entities who are currently in the space, it's no longer you and your best friend and someone else who lives across the street who maybe heard about Bitcoin a couple of years ago, who owns, 15 Satoshis. These are the people who basically rule and run the world. I've spoken to so many people over the last, and I dare say even half a year, about being into crypto. And I show them these things, and these people they're into the space as well, and we talk about it. And there's no real desire from a lot of these people to even buy. I can show them explicit proof. I can send them my videos. I can tell them, look at what's happening. Look at the money that's actually moving into the market. Look at these people who are filing for all this registration, for all this so-and-so, for all these other things. These are the people who run the planet. And they go, well, prices are down, so people are kind of timid. And I'm like, how could you be timid right now? How could anything inside of your mind tell you that this isn't the most bullish news that we've ever... I mean, it's clear and plain as day. What's the methodology in the mind that makes people simply go, well, I mean, prices are down, so I shouldn't really care. Do you have to care that prices are at 50, 60, 70,000 so you can't actually afford an entire Bitcoin anymore or any other coin? Does it have to be out of your reach for you to understand the significance of these people getting into the market? I really don't get it. You've heard me say that so many times, but I really do mean it. It's so confusing to be in this market. If we had news on any other level that there was a company, let's say this company made candy or made shoes or made clothing, I don't care what it is. They made some other type of product and they listed on the stock market. And we heard that Fidelity, BlackRock, the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ France's third largest bank, BNY Mellon, a whole bunch of banks within the United Arab Emirates had all joined on their side, and they were like, this is going to be the biggest company on the planet. And then prices for that company dropped, or no one was buying it, or there was simply no social engagement. People were like, it seems interesting. I don't get it. I'm shocked that there's still any crypto actually even left on the market. And I mean that wholeheartedly. How could anyone be selling right now? I understand that there are going to be anomalies or situations where people need money to pay their bills, but we've gone over that before. Don't put money into the market that you literally cannot afford to lose. If in 6 months that money would have helped you pay your rent, you should not be putting that into any market. The idea of selling anything is extremely weird in my head, I guess because I follow my own speech. Any more money that I've put into the market, someone was asking me yesterday, no, I haven't sold any of the other coins, even Omisego, even EOS. I still have all these coins. They're on ledgers or they're on my old computers. They're still sitting there. I haven't sold anything because I put money into the market that I know I'm like, okay, cool. I do not need this money and will not need it. Why don't people buy on the dip? Why don't people buy when things are low? Why don't people take the news into account that this is all happening? The scariest part is at the end of this year or next year or whatever the time frame is, when Bitcoin hits $100,000 or $120,000, the market will skyrocket after that because so many people will go, oh, I should have bought a year and a half ago. Why not now? What news do you need? Like, what more do you actually need to convince you that this is it? Or in general, if prices are this low, how is there still anything on the market? I don't, maybe the numbers are simply too large. I was watching something a couple of days ago. They were talking about the universe and the expansion of the universe and the idea of the number infinity and how it terrifies a lot of people because you can't conceptualize the idea of infinity. Because it doesn't end. You can make a symbol for it. That's like that, that little curved circle that kind of loops into itself. But that's a symbol symbolizing something that doesn't have an actual symbol because infinity simply goes on forever. So maybe the idea of $1 trillion market, the idea of what would move it or what would stop the movement of it or how to get it moving once again or what would cause it to pause is simply just, maybe the numbers are just too large for my brain. If you ever get a chance, there's a couple of them. But there's a really good one, and it talks about the idea of the number 1 billion or being a billionaire and how essentially, mathematically, the idea of being a billionaire should not exist. I know someone just sucked their teeth and they were like, no, we have billionaires. Oh, no. The idea of a billionaire, someone having $1 billion, mathematically over the course of life is and should be nearly impossible. It comes from draining other resources from a massive amount of other people to be able to have that much money for yourself. In the actual example that they showed in this one particular video, if I can find it, I'll post it. I'll post it on Twitter like I normally do. It was a video of this guy. It was like a stick figure or something like that. And he's walking down the street. He's looking for a job. And the voice goes, hey, buddy, I'll give you a job picking apples. He goes, that's great. And the job of picking apples, I think, gives him, I think it's $100 per hour. I forgot what it is. It's something astronomically high, more than you would normally be getting per hour. And this guy's picking these apples and picking his, for hour and hour, day on day. And at the end of a year, he looks at how much money he has and he goes, it's a lot, but it's still not what I'm trying to get to. And the voice tells him, he goes, actually, now you're going to work on weekends and you're still going to be making the same amount of money, but with no rest. And the guy continues making money. And I think he's doing this like in the year zero. So like, 0 AD, the beginning of the last 2000 something years. And he's doing this for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And by the time I think he gets to the Crusades, I think he only has a couple $1 million. Like, it's this really weird idea that even by the time I think the guy starts giving him golden apples and the golden apples are worth more and starts doubling and tripling how much money that he's making every single month. By the time he gets to the year, I think 2020, this guy's still picking apples. He has a super long gray beard and he goes to like the point of it was, so we can move on. He goes to like find a newspaper or find something so he can read about the news. And he sees that there's someone in the news who's a billionaire. And he's like, that's crazy because I also finally have $1 billion. It took this guy 2,000 years of making $100 an hour to finally get to $1 billion. And the guy reads through the news and finds out that he doesn't even make the top 50 list. He's still not one. It took this man 2,000 years of working to not even get into the top 50 list of billionaires on the planet, because there are other people who have $100 billion. And he sits there and goes, well, now I have to work for another 40,000 years to even get to the level where they are. It's a very interesting video. The idea or the concept of $1 billion, or the concept. Anyway, I like having these conversations with all of you because all this stuff flows through my mind all the time, like the idea of numbers and things like that. And that's what I think drives me crazy about the cryptocurrency space, because these numbers never make any sense. They never, and also you'll see the other news as well about the actual crypto coins. I forgot the exact name of it, but how well the other metrics are doing and how this is doing absolutely nothing for price. Like, I want to speak to someone who runs one of these bots, not to, scream at them, but more of I would love to know like the idea or the methodology behind it. What's the point of it? What's the, is it simply just to continuously trade around these prices forever? Are you actually planning on profiting from the movements in the market? Will the market ever actually go back up in tandem with news or the opposite correlation to the news? Do people care that the third largest bank in France is officially into crypto? Do people not know what BlackRock is? Someone sent me a text the other day. They were like, they just bought like a magazine company. And I was like, what? And they were like, Blackscale. And I was like, what? They sent me the article for it. It was some other company called Blackscale, Black Floor. It started with black. And they were like, yeah, that's crazy. First they're buying Bitcoin, now they're buying magazines. And I was like, okay, a lot of people simply don't know what BlackRock actually is. Anyway, that's the third largest bank in France. It is officially into crypto news. Right. Let's move on. Also, in all this news connects with each other very, very closely. 4 associations, the I'm used to saying black. The Blockchain Association, the Chamber of Digital Commerce, and Chamber of Progress, and Coin Center file. What? Oh, geez. English is right in English. And Coin Center have filed an amicus in support of Grayscale and the lawsuit against the SEC. Grayscale called the SEC's decision to reject the conversion of its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into spot Bitcoin ETFs as discriminatory. So at the beginning of this year, we heard that the people from Grayscale were trying to launch a Bitcoin ETF. I told all of you it was not going to get launched because the SEC is destructively corrupt. Towards the middle of this year, I think it was summertime, we had news that the SEC had rejected Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF, and at the same exact time had said yes to a number of Bitcoin futures ETFs, because the idea of having futures is that the people behind the scenes can actively bet against the price of Bitcoin. Grayscale mentioned earlier this year that if they received a rejection from the SEC, that they would be taking them to court. They have now taken them to court. There are now 4 different corporations or companies or institutions within the cryptocurrency space who have filed an amicus brief basically announcing that they are going to join Grayscale's side against the SEC, however they plan on doing so. I would love to be, at some point, optimistic to think that this would actually do something. I assumed that years ago, and I mean, let's give it a good 2018, 2019, that we would have had a Bitcoin ETF in the United States, because every other country in the world already has them. And I mean that. Every other place who wanted one has one. And the US SEC up until this point has continuously said no, and they're not going to be saying yes anytime soon. There's no chance of them saying yes anytime soon. I think the only method for getting them to maybe say maybe would be taking them to court through this way. I don't even think if Grayscale wins the lawsuit that the SEC would then be forced to give them a Bitcoin ETF. So I'm not really sure where exactly this leads everyone out there. So one of the most popular news stories is that other people have joined Grayscale's side in an attempt to get the SEC to do something, but also, once again, Ripple has done the exact same thing. Multiple companies and other people who are XRP holders have joined the side of Ripple in the lawsuit against the SEC, and it still has taken 2 years. If this ends up taking 2 years, this will be the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. There was also news, I don't have it anywhere around here. I think the SEC has filed for something to reseal or unshow some other documents that would have also been relevant to Ripple. I don't understand how you can claim to actually want to regulate or help people and you're just actually evil. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world. I don't get it. So this was very popular news, tying into that entire idea of, this is another thing about it as well, as far as regulation. The European Commission's Commissioner for Financial Services has reportedly urged United States lawmakers to establish new rules to regulate the crypto industry. She said, "We do need to see other players also legislating. We need to look at global regulation of crypto," said the commissioner. The idea is, for those of you who missed that at the end of last year, we've had news for a while, since the end of 2017, that there would be cryptocurrency regulations. The only people who have regulated is every other country on the planet except for the United States. I'm going to say that one more time. Every other country on the planet has already regulated crypto. This is why, I don't know if you missed it, we had that video where I was talking about the countries on the planet that have no cryptocurrency taxes. How to pay no taxes on crypto. Move here for crypto, regulate, because every other place has proper cryptocurrency regulation. It's written in the books. Everyone else on every other country has more or less, there's always going to be that one odd country, have more or less come together to basically give like blanket rules on top of crypto that were already within the banking industry, i.e., if you sign up for a cryptocurrency exchange, we need your name, we need your ID, we need to know where you live, especially if you're sending tons of money at one given time through the cryptocurrency exchange, just so we can do the anti-money laundering, KYC, money, all those other things that they've been doing for the banking industry. The only people who still not have given proper cryptocurrency regulations is the United States in any way, shape, or form. Like, not one single way. I was even reading about the taxation issue from state to state and how it varies with crypto. And it's an actual cluster. I won't say the second word, but you know what the second word was there. A literal cluster. It does not make any sense that this is still going on. I don't get it. All I can imagine from having grown up in the States is that behind the scenes, there's a lot of money that's probably benefiting from the market not having any proper regulation, so these people can inside trade as much as they want to make as much profit that they can before they're actually forced to actually give regulation. It's the only thing that I can think of. The people from the US, the SEC and more so the SEC, they've been screaming from the top of the hill that we need crypto regulation. Things will be regulated. Things will come under control. Things will be so-and-so. No more of the wild, wild west. But they're the people who give the regulations, and they still not have given the actual regulations. How does the entirety of the rest of the world have it together except for the US? I'm not understanding. I'm not really able to categorize it in my mind because it just seems ridiculous. And even more so, what they're basically asking for is once again, a simple blanket layover of banking rules for the entirety of the world, so that if there is a move, the largest banks on the planet who are now into crypto, as they trade money back and forth between themselves in crypto, that there are simply regulations to know who had the money, where the money went, who has the money now. So this wasn't really the most popular news, but I saw this floating around a couple of places. People in the cryptocurrency space don't typically like to talk about regulation, but it's here. We can't escape it. We can't pretend that it's not there. It doesn't make any sense because one day it would simply smack us in the face and we would go, where'd the regulation come from? So it's good that we talk about it because we know that it's going to be there. If you are on a cryptocurrency exchange, you fall under some sort of regulatory rules. That's just how it actually goes. So one day in the year 2032, the US will finally have a Bitcoin ETF and they will finally have cryptocurrency rules. It's really the only thing that I can come up with in my mind. There must be something. Some people who are lobbying for crypto, some people who are doing something are using this time to buy up tons of crypto when there aren't any real rules in the US to fill their pockets as much as they can. Because you cannot scream at everyone else who's in crypto saying that you're in a bad protocol, you're in a bad coin, you're in a bad something. All the stuff that's going on is completely undoable. It's Wild West, which is what one of their main phrases that they like to use, that we are the crypto Wild West, which sounds like something from the 1930s, and then not give any crypto regulation. So good job to them. This is also whatever. Whatever. I was going to move on, but last thought. This reminds me of simply when a year and a half ago, and I still don't get this. I don't understand why the world waits for the US. When we had news last year, I think it was last year, that the first Bitcoin ETF ever had finally launched, and it was in Canada. Then the second one in Canada launched, and the third one in Canada launched. And now we have over 20 of them around the world. And the one thing, I can still find news for this now, the one thing that everyone appears to be waiting for to really skyrocket Bitcoin's price is a physical Bitcoin ETF in the United States. Every other country on the planet has them. Why is everyone always waiting for the US? Why do we need US inflation data to control every other stock market on the planet? Anyway, it's probably not going to happen for a long time, so she's wasting her breath news. Let's move on. I was going to skip over this, but this was also very popular news today. There was a coin called Aptos, that is Aptos, that launched yesterday. I saw news about this for a couple of weeks. I breeze over these things simply because there's tons of these coins. For those of you who don't know, it does not get any funnier than this. This coin called Aptos was touted as the Solana destroyer. I can't say the other word because of the algorithm. The idea was that this coin is going to launch and it is so strong and so much better than Solana that it was going to knock it over and take its place. And I made a joke to myself in my head. Well, I said it wouldn't take more than a couple of leaves to do that because Solana is garbage. I know. Don't get upset. Don't forget that 10 times this year that their blockchain stopped. 10 times. If Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and Cardano and even Terra Luna Classic has stopped 10 times this year, I would also be throwing dirt on them as well. I promise you. I know you think I'm lying. If you've watched this channel for 7 years, if your coin is garbage, I'm going to talk down to you because it's absolute trash. So the news is that this coin was coming out and it was meant to be the thing that usurped Solana, which would not take a lot of energy. It would maybe take a couple of breaths, and then it would completely collapse over. How anyone is still into Solana, I don't get it. What I don't understand is that why do people in life, not even just in crypto, why do you always need something new and shiny? Why is Aptos being touted as this amazing new wonderful thing? For those of you who aren't looking at the screen, the coin debuted and its price went from $100 to $8 in a couple of hours. So the coin completely collapsed. I know. It's just a garbage coin. Apparently they had tons of problems launching the blockchain. Apparently, allegedly, there were some hiccups and things weren't working out well. And I found out through reading, it took them 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4 years of building this blockchain, and then it didn't work. Oh, I know, crazy. Why do you keep running towards these crappy coins? Years ago, the idea of Litecoin, here we go. The idea of Litecoin was that it was meant to be a lighter version of Bitcoin. Quicker, faster, 4 times as many transactions. There were many people who were touting Litecoin back then as the new Bitcoin. 4 times as many transactions, 4 times as many this. It is going to be the number one coin at some point. No one really cared about Litecoin anymore. Ethereum pops up. Ethereum was meant to be the Bitcoin destroyer. For those of you who don't remember that, look up the news in 2015, 2016, 2017. We are still getting news about Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. It happens all the time. Ethereum became its own ecosystem. No one really openly talks about Ethereum becoming the number one coin before. Then we had XRP, which arose, and it was supposed to have been the thing that usurped Bitcoin. Don't act like it didn't happen. Someone just sucked their teeth. I was also here in 2016, 2017. That's when I started the channel. I remember it as well. Everyone kept on talking about that XRP was going to become the number one coin. It's still in the ecosystem and is still a very popular coin, but it's not going to take over Bitcoin. At that point, when people realized that Ethereum was always probably going to be the number 2 coin, we had Tron, Cardano. What were the other crappy coins that popped up? I don't remember. Many other coins that kept on popping up, and everyone's like, these coins are going to take over Ethereum because they're so much better and so much quicker. And I was like, guys, I don't think so. I'm sure we're going to have a handful of them that end up making it, but they're not going to really ever be the number 2 coin. What happened? A lot of those coins completely collapsed. No one talks about them. I don't really hear. What's the other one? No one's talking about Chainlink anymore. What was the other one that people kept on telling me was going to be like the number 1 main coin? It wasn't Algorand. I know it was Solana, but there were multiple coins that people kept on talking about were going to be incredible and yada, yada, yada. And then there were other coins that were meant to usurp Cardano and meant to do so-and-so. But when you market yourself in this way, that your coin is meant to take over X or destroy X or get rid of X, people will follow you for some reason. I don't know if it's an innate inside of people that they don't like a specific coin and therefore they hear that there's a new coin that's going to take over the other coin and this is what they flow to, or if simply because these new coins seem so shiny and new and everyone's trying to get in before the price ends up pumping. I think that's maybe it. I think people hear that there's going to be a new coin on the block and that coin is going to destroy the other ones and then become, you know how long I've been in this market? You know how many times? It's at least 15 outside of the normal crypto coins that these other coins have popped up and people are talking about this is going to take over. This is going to be the brand new thing. This is going to definitely be the brand new coin. And so many of these coins, the creators, they end up making hundreds of millions of dollars and then they disappear in the name of decentralization. They say, oh yeah, you know, to make it more decentralized, I'm simply going to disappear from the coin and no one ends up building on it and people end up losing tons of money. It's happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So when I saw a couple of weeks ago that something named Aptos, which sounds like a Pokemon, was going to be launching, I looked over it because I knew that it's not going to actually become something. Long story short, this coin launched, the price pumped up and then completely slammed back down. And a lot of people are scratching their heads as to how this could have possibly happened. From what I've seen on social media, a lot of people think that this was touted by a number of venture capital firms and or hedge funds who told other people on social media that this was going to be the brand new coin. They knew exactly when the pump was going to happen and they sold in a coordinated manner. And that's why the coin dropped from $100 to $8. So I would say a word of warning, a word of caution, but I know very few people will be listening to me. A lot of people love the idea of getting into a brand new coin when the price is low. I know, I've seen it before. I've seen it many other times. If it's not because of crypto vanity, the idea of being able to own many coins as opposed to a fraction of Bitcoin, it comes down to this, well, my friend told me that this coin is very popular and there's going to be a brand new coin that's going to be even more popular than the other coin. So just look out for yourselves, look out for your wallets. Understand that a lot of these coins are complete garbage, and I will tell you over and over and over until you really get it through your heads, because this keeps happening. So that's the Aptos news. Sorry, the Zapdos news. And yeah, let's move along. I was going to try and be neutral, but I was like, no, I can't. It's so ridiculous that this keeps happening over and over. I want to make you realize that the next time you hear that there's another coin, because there's going to be another one. There's going to be another coin that someone says is quicker, stronger, faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be touted as this. There were so many coins in 2017 and they all ended up being scams. There were so many of them. So many. It's always the same. Stop looking for replacements and just use what you have. The same holds true in life. Why do you have 3 cars when it's just you living inside the house alone? Why do you keep buying a new car every single year? Why do you keep buying new shoes when you have 18 pairs of shoes already? Have the other ones broken down? What is this constant need for always has to be new and shiny? Because even the new and shiny that you bought last year is now old and gray. So you have to continuously keep buying into something new. And a lot of these things are scams. Also in the news, Bitcoin's hash rate continues to rocket. Historically, we've seen many times that whenever Bitcoin's hash rate rises, Bitcoin's price tends to skyrocket. This is just logical news. The idea is during a bear downtrend, when prices are going down over the course of a very long amount of time, over a 6-month period, a lot of people begin to unplug their computers. The idea is, I'm not really making a large amount of money from mining Bitcoin. I'll plug it back in when the prices are going back up. It seems completely logical. I'll make more money when prices are going back up. Even with Bitcoin's price going down, Bitcoin's hash rate has been spiking to new all-time highs consistently. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks in a row. There are tons of new people plugging in their machines. I saw a lot of people who were writing articles and they were like, do the people mining Bitcoin, do they know something that we don't know? Because you would normally not, air quotes, be wasting electricity on creating Bitcoin that wasn't profitable to you. As more people plug in their computers and the hash rate rises, the difficulty of mining a Bitcoin also rises, making it more difficult for you to be able to make one. But for some reason, the hash rate continues to rise even during this time. Like, there are actual metrics that people can look to and say, it costs $19,000 to make a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price is currently $19,000. Therefore, it's not profitable for me. It costs $19,000 to make a Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price is currently $33,000. It's definitely profitable for me to make one. But for some reason, I don't understand anything anymore. Nothing is making sense. And it's okay. Tell me if I'm over exaggerating. I know I can be a little out there. I get it. It's just who I am. Someone saw me one time. Weird story. Someone saw me one time and this guy was like looking at me on the train, and I was like, okay. I'm chatting to my friend, and after like 10 minutes, he looks over and goes, are you the guy from YouTube? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I sat here watching you because I wanted to know if you acted this way in real life as well. And I was like, yup, that's just me. As ridiculous as you hear me here, that's exactly how I am. You think I'm joking. That's exactly how I am in real life. Everything that's happening to this space makes and doesn't make sense. The idea of all these entities getting into crypto would make sense that people are logically plugging in their computers, or even more so if you want to go there, that banks and other institutions are also now getting into cryptocurrency mining. If the bank is into it and the bank is buying it, why would the bank not also be mining it? So that makes a lot of sense. Us getting these metrics consistently daily and the price is not going up is very weird. The bots trading against us, what's that for? Stock market went up, futures go up, cryptocurrency prices go down. Inflation continues to skyrocket, Bitcoin price falls. Not a lot of things really making any sense right now. The rest of the world has cryptocurrency regulation. We know that other world banks and other gigantic banks and other institutions and hedge funds, and you heard me say the words thousands of times, I assume it means nothing to you anymore, are all into crypto. They're actively buying Bitcoin. We know that they are. They told us. They didn't not tell us. We had the news before. We know that they're definitely into the space. We know that they have regulatory approval. Do we think that they're also just sitting there going, oh no, I need Bitcoin to fall to 14 before I can buy. Oh gosh, I really want to. No, it's clear that they're accumulating this cryptocurrency over the counter. When will our market move? When will anything make sense in this market anymore? I'm questioning existence at this point because nothing is making sense. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin's hash rate has been spiking. I mean, consistently. It's constantly going up all the time. Even the other news that we had the other day, and I just knew in my heart prices were going to move. Ethereum's network is seeing more activity than it has in months. I mean, huge, gigantic spike in activity. The NFT market, I don't know if you've seen as well, has also kind of been moving back up as well. There are tons of NFT projects. People are buying them. There are tons of NFTs reselling for millions of dollars. We got news that the Ethereum issuance rate, it's somewhere. I'll find it for you guys as well. There was another article that said that Ethereum's issuance rate over the course of like half a day had fallen by 98%. So like not the normal 90% from before, 98%. And then Ethereum's price fell that day. I can't imagine there only being 2% of the ether that was being created before, and then the price still fell the same day. If we heard from any company that 98% of their stock had disappeared and all that was left was that last 2%, they would have gone up by 86% that day just in the stock market. What's going on? What am I missing? Because I don't think my brain can take much more. It just doesn't make any sense. We should be so much higher in price, but I'm even terrified of saying that. Maybe the algorithm will hear me and it'll start selling off some Bitcoin. Very, very weird. I don't understand. Alrighty. Moving on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Crayola Michelle URL, On Crypto with Lionel, Tigger Machonisa, Bake Me a Cake, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Nick Manj, Yalavori, Paxis, Richie Rich III, Setsuna, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Bankroll Network, 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Martin Steuer, Moonman High XRP, Utopia 569, Navarro Williams, Pater Noster, Nita Miracle, Space Case, Troy Allgood, Quoted Biddy, Lauren De Silva, Miguel Grelay, VB Nerd 21, Mo Barazi, Crypto, nope, incorrect, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, The Dealer's Den, Tony Ambroski, Arachno Dave, Bitcoin Ben, Roman Geba, Empire Queen, and let's move on, Blockchain Simplified, Jamie Saad, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, How's Life Austin, Bubble Mode, Crypto Gambino, Manny Cryptos, Dotha Diddy, and GBU Wally. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, a comment, who wrote 1337. Thank you for all the support on Money Rules and also on the travel channel. And if you're still here listening to me ramble on at the moment, Bitcoin is at $19,197. It is down by 1.87%. Ethereum is down by 2.3%. XRP is down by 3.3%. Tron is up by 1%. Uniswap is up by 3.38 percentile points. Leo said Unis Leo is up by 1.5. Monero is up by 2.97 as well. Everything else is in the red. Aave is up by 4.1%. Maker is up by 4% as well. I don't get it. I truly do not. I don't understand what it's going to take to move the market back up. It cannot be a general sentiment across 300 million people who are into crypto to continuously sell as stocks go down. It doesn't make any sense. Humans can't coordinate on anything. Nonetheless, 300 million people coordinating on when to buy and when to sell cryptocurrencies. It doesn't make a lot of sense. What does the algorithm need? What moves the algorithm in the opposite way? I wonder what happens if we all posted on social media nothing but negativity for a month. And this is a real question. If us writing the word bullish on Twitter causes algorithms to sell, what happens if we keep writing negativity every single day? I wonder if we could start like a negativity campaign on social media and on Twitter to continuously just write bad things about crypto. Even as prices rise, keep writing bearish, 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 bearish over and over and over. I wonder what would happen. I might make a video about that. I might try and start a campaign, only write bearish things. Nothing else seems to make any other sense. Global economies are collapsing. Fiat currencies are withering in front of us. It's just a lot to take all at once. It's been a very weird year. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.